YouTube? I've been waiting to bring you this video for 70 business days. My SGC order, my first SGC order, has finally come home. I didn't count them out like exactly, but I am basically on 70 business days from the time they check the order in until I got it back in my hands this afternoon. It was originally a 20-day submission, submitted to them on May 11th. Before we get into the grades and the cards, I'm going to talk about SGC for a minute. Okay, let me preface this. I understand a pandemic happened. I understand they tried to expand and opened up extra buildings and staff and hired people, and they were fighting the good little fight, little old SGC down there in Florida, trying to ramp things up to get caught up. Cool. Got it. My problem with SGC is they essentially just straight up ran, and I'm probably going to make some people mad with this. I don't care. SGC Defense Force, you can come get me. But there's just no justification for this. They basically ran a bait and switch on the hobby for May, June, and most of July. So, SGC was gaining a little bit of steam back in March and April. A couple YouTubers were trying them out. This was before I even had a channel. And they were submitting cards. They were getting back ultra fast. They've been in the vintage game for a while, so they were a known grading company. It wasn't like a GMA situation or the Gem Mint or some of the other fly-by-night ones. So people knew who SGC was. They were established. I forget how many years they've been around for, but they've been around. So PSA and BGS are start to limit orders because of the pandemic. SGC's in Florida. They did not have the same restrictions on. And they keep gaining steam. People keep talking about them. People are showing submission results and saying, they got these back in like 15 business days on a 20-day order, this, that, and the other thing. And then, I believe his name is Peter, that runs the company essentially, went on Cardboard Chronicles on May 1st and said, "We're open, send us your cards, we don't believe in how PSA and BGS have all these wait times, yada, 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 yada." Okay. He's since come back and said that he probably shouldn't have said all the things that he said on there, and kind of like a little mini mea culpa. So regardless, he does that on May 1st. As part of that video, they gave out a coupon code. Okay, cool. I'd been sitting on some stuff I wanted to get graded. I was just getting ready to send stuff off to PSA, and the world fell apart. I said, okay. I got this nice coupon code for 15% off or whatever it is from the Cardboard Chronicles interview. They're cheap to grade with anyways at $10 a pop. At this point in time, like I said, PSA and stuff was shut down. So I submit on May 11th. A week and a half goes by. They accept them. They start processing them, whatever, it's called. And then this video is on the channel. I made a video as Mosaic came out, and I ripped a bunch of Mosaic, and I sent a bunch of LeBron stuff in on a 15-day order. Because my thought process was, I'll get them back at about the same time. And LeBron graded stuff, not necessarily first to market, but LeBron graded stuff really early on in the Mosaic run could do pretty well. So days start flying by. I don't hear anything. And now, at this point, once I got past the 20 days, people had started putting together, well, wait a second. They're backed up. They're really backed up. Oh, wow, they are really, really backed up. So it got to the point I came very close to requesting my cards back about 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. Very close. They came out with the announcement 3 weeks ago with the switching around service levels and all that jazz, all that stuff. Needless to say, my 15-day order from May 25th or whatever it is still sitting there. I haven't gotten that back yet. I was issued a credit for the premium that I paid for the 15-day service. So my issue, to make a very long story short, um, my problem is when I submitted my cards on May 11th and a 20-day service thing was listed, they knew at that point that they were screwed. That orders were flying in and they could not keep up. I have a feeling shortly after that interview on Cardboard Chronicles, within a few days, I bet you they had to be underwater. That interview happened on May 1st. I submitted on May 11th. They had to know we're screwed. As I said, word kept getting out. Hey, I submitted in mid. People that submitted prior to this Cardboard Chronicles interview were like, man, I'm at like day 30, day 35. I haven't gotten my stuff back yet. This was right after I set my 15-day sub, and then I realized mistakes were made. My issue with SGC is, to boil this all down, is they knew they were backed up. They knew they were screwed. They knew they were not going to meet deadlines. And it took them all of May, all of June, and almost all of July. I don't remember the exact date that they came out with their statement, and he did another interview on Cardboard Chronicles, but it was about 3 weeks ago. That is ridiculous. I understand the pandemic was on and all that stuff. I get it. But you guys didn't say anything. People kept submitting cards. If you weren't in the weeds on, Discords and blowout forums and this, that, and the other thing, really digging into this, and you're just like your average collector, you didn't pay, get into the social media shenanigans, Instagram, all that crap, and you just pulled up SGC's website because you've been seeing some YouTubers talk about them. Hey, $10 a card, sweet, I'll send that off in mid-June. Well, good luck, you're probably going to see that stuff in October, most likely, because their website still said we're hitting a 20-day turnaround time. Send us your cards. Their last statement was, we are open, send us all your cards. The only way you got communication from them was as if you emailed them directly. And they were pretty good about getting back to you in those situations. But they kept pushing it off. I'd emailed multiple times, and they would say, oh, about 2 more weeks. 2 weeks would go by. Oh, about 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks would go by. Oh, 3 to 5 weeks. Excuse me? What? Wait, what? And the one Facebook group that I'm in, Andy, one of their representatives, I forget his exact title, sorry, is in that group. And I had said multiple times to him, hey, what's going on here? Your website still says you're hitting a 20-day turnaround time. The world, most people know that. A lot of people still don't. Where's your guys' messaging on this? Where's an update to your community? Not individual emails to people saying, hey guys, we messed this up. We're really backed up. And I think this lack of communications really hurt them. I think most people in the hobby would have been understanding if they came out right away in the beginning of May or mid-May and said, hey, we did the interview. You guys responded. Guess what? We're slammed. Here's updated turnaround times. PSA and BGS post updated turnaround times. BGS just updated theirs a few days ago. I talked about it in the video I made yesterday morning. Or yesterday afternoon. And I get PSA bulk orders take 12 months and all that stuff. PSA turnaround time is 60 to 90 days or 60 to 70 days on an economy order. And it probably took about the same amount of time as this SGC order took me. But the difference is I know that going in. I sent, that 2 PSA submissions, one about a week ago and one about a month prior to that. I knew when I sent those cards in the mail, it was probably going to be 60 to 70, 75 business days before I got them back. And I was fine with that because I knew that going in. I had proper expectations set for me. When I submitted to SGC, they basically bait and switched me. They put one thing up front and then didn't say anything for months. And I just think a lot of people in the hobby feel burned by that. They are going to have to really earn. I'm going to have to see some really good turnaround time results from them, and they're going to have to earn their trust back before I send them another card. I've never been. I shouldn't say never. Was extremely frustrated with the experience that not that I personally had with them, because I was following this stuff, so I knew what was going on very quickly, and I realized I was screwed. I was very disappointed with the way that they talk about trying to be upfront with everything, but then they didn't say anything for 3 months while people are still submitting cards to them. You know, like I said, when they got my order on May 11th, they had to be so backed up already if I'm just getting my order now. It is August 17th. And it took them until late July to publicly say how backed up they were. That is a joke. You're not respecting your community at that point. And like I said, don't get me wrong. BGS and PSA are pieces of crap too. Most of the time it can be extremely frustrating to work with. But at least when I submit cards to them, I know what I'm getting into. They post their stuff up front. I am mentally prepared, and I am planning for that because I'm submitting certain cards expecting to come back in a certain amount of time. There's going to be cards in this order I wanted to sell a long time ago, and now I'm probably going to get stuck holding them based off of what happened in the market while they were sitting there. Sure, some stuff's gone up. That happens, whatever. The other thing with SGC is you pay up front. You pay when you submit the cards. Some people like that. I think it sucks. You're paying out $100 to $200 up front, depending how many cards you're submitting. And then it takes some 70 business days to get your cards back. That was money you could have been doing stuff with. At least PSA, they bill you when they ship the cards back. If they ship me the cards back on Thursday or Friday, I get billed the $300 or whatever it is in grading fees. I have the cards back in my hand on Tuesday. I can immediately start selling that stuff. So, that's my rant. Let's get into the actual cards. Sorry, that probably went way longer than it should have, but I was extremely frustrated by this experience and needed to have that cleanse. So thank you all for this sharing time that we've had together this afternoon. All right, so let's get into this. One, I will give SGC a couple pros actually. This stuff came back extremely fast in regards to shipping. It shipped from Florida Friday morning, I think, and I already have it. Today's Monday. It was very well packaged, and the seller-ready images are really nice. I did not use them in this case because I wanted to, given the postal system and their struggles, I wanted to make sure that the cards were back in hand before I listed anything on eBay. So, I submitted 14 cards. I put a min grade of 9.5. I did not want any any SGC cards slabbed in an SGC 9 because they basically sell for raw or in some cases slightly less than raw. So I didn't want to mess with that. I just, you know what, 9.5, and then we'll roll with what happened. So, overall, I am fairly pleased. I was a little disappointed in a couple cards, but it's hard to complain too much. Out of the 14 cards, 13 of them graded. So that means 13 out of 14 got 9.5 or higher. I was pretty particular on what I sent in here, with the exception of one. And I'm very curious to look at that card when we get to it. So, let me move this off to the side here. We have ranted long enough. Let's get to the main event. So the one that did not meet min grade was a jaw-based Prism. I have not taken this out yet to look it over, but clearly I thought that it was going to be a 9.5 based off of even submitting it and putting a min 9.5 on it. So I will look that over off camera. I don't want to hold. We've ranted long enough, but it's very well centered. It's slightly misstamped, ever so slightly. So I don't know if that dropped it down a whole grade or if maybe I just missed something else. So I'm going to take a hard look at this one. I'll probably resubmit this to PSA and see what happens. Even if it comes back a PSA 9, that would be all right. I'm going to set that one off to the side. All right, the meat and potatoes. First up, we got Trey Young, 1819 base Prism, and this came back a 10. This is something I will be holding on to most likely. There's no reason to sell Trey Young right now. He is a hold for next season. So he will go in the stash of things to sell either during the season or at the lead up to the season, depending on what his prices do. Next, we got a Marantz. There's a lot of Optic stuff in here. We got a Marantz Optic Blue Velocity, and this came back a 9.5. I'm not surprised by this. Top to bottom centering is not great on this. So the fact that it pulled a 9.5, I'm fine with that. I don't want to say I necessarily expected that. Kind of hoping for the 10. But the top left to right centering is pretty good. Top, it's a little heavy on the top compared to the bottom. But I really like the blue velocities. They look really good. And this is a Marantz Zion heavy submission. This is a Marantz My House Silver. And it's got a 10. I'm pretty happy with the way that these My House Silvers look in these. And spoiler, I do know the grades. I looked on the seller ready images when they popped. We have a lot of My Houses in this order. I really like that insert set. Another My House. This is a Luca. And this is a hollow or silver. And this also got a 10. The jaw, that I will probably look to sell. The Luca Silver I am probably going to hold. This is another Luca My House. This is a purple. This got a 9.5. I'm not really sure why. Back centering's a little bad on it. That's the only thing I can think of. Front centering looked pretty good. I thought it's kind of tough to judge on these. This is another one I will most likely sell. I don't consider that a long-term hold as a 9.5, and it's a purple. That was just kind of thrown in as something to potentially sell out of this to quote-unquote cover the cost of the submission. This is a big one. I will probably most likely be selling this at some point in time during the playoffs. This is a LeBron My House Silver Hollow, and this got a 10. And this looks really good in this slab. If he was in a Cavs jersey, I would keep this. The Lakers jersey, I just can't get over it. But it is a really nice looking card. Some of the cards look really good in the SGC slabs. Some don't. Personally, like for example, this this is a base Prism, and this got a 9.5. I don't think Prism cards look great in these slabs. I just don't. The silver on the black, I guess it's okay, but they don't pop. They just kind of blend in. I'm not sure why this got a 9.5. I thought the jaws were in really good shape. I am debating heavily cracking this and sending it off to PSA. I will not try to crossover. I would crack it. So that's going to go in the I'm probably going to crack it pile. And then we have, just to speed things along here, 2 base Zions, Prisms, 9.5s. One of these was ever so slightly misstamped. They're both very well centered. I thought the corners and stuff looked good. I was surprised about the 9.5 on these. I guess not everything can get a 10 when you submit. I don't know if maybe I'm really bad about corners, so maybe there was a little corner ding that I didn't catch. These are the 2. I mentioned this earlier. I'm not a huge believer in Zion as a long-term hold. He has a huge upside, but he has a huge downside as well, and I just don't like that. These were 2 I desperately wanted to have back to sell before games started back up again. And obviously that didn't happen, and now his prices have gone down significantly from their peak. And I thought I had this all timed perfectly, and then SGC got in the way. So 9.5s. I don't know what I'm going to do with these yet. I'm going to try to look these over as best I can in the slabs. I may end up selling one as is, and I'll probably actually hold it until the beginning of the season. And I may crack one and send it off to PSA. I may crack both of them and send them off to PSA, to be honest. I'm going to see what the pricing is on the 9.5 SGC versus a PSA 9 in case I come back at the floor. This one I am very excited about. I'll be honest with you, I did not think this card was going to 10, and I also think this card looks really good in the SGC slab. And that is this Luka base Optic, and this is clearly shot way up in value from the time that I submitted it. I'm not looking to sell Luka stuff anyway, so it's not like I would have moved this if I got it back sooner. But let me see if I could see it off camera. This card, I don't think I can find it now. This card had a surface issue that I was aware of, and I can't pick it up now. I'm trying to use the light to reflect. So sorry if I'm blinding you guys. Regardless, I got a 10, so I guess I'll just take it to the bank. As the SGC Defense Force likes to say, when SGC gives it 10, it's a 10. You know it's a real 10. So, but that's that. I'm very pleased with that one. This one probably won't be going anywhere. Now, that being said, I should rephrase that. I have two PSA 10 of this exact card already. One's sitting right back there, and another one's off to the side here. If this got ridiculously stupid price-wise, if they beat the Clippers or something crazy, and I wanted to lock in a huge return, this would be the one that I would move first before either one of the two there or the BGS 9.5 Prism. Luka to me is a long-term hold, so I don't see him going anywhere. The last three are all Optic base, and they are all 10s. So we got a Marantz Optic base, and once again, last year's Optic and this year's Optic, I think, look really good in the SGC slab with the white on black. I think it really makes the card pop. If you look at, we'll pull Baker out over here. The white on frosted white, I think this card pops a lot more out of it. So I do like the way that the SGC black looks on the Optic, but I think it really varies from card to card. And that Marantz Optic, I don't see that going anywhere. Here's another two I would have liked to sold already. Optic Zion bases. SGC 10s. Once again, I think they look really nice in the SGC slab. My plan going in was, depending on how these graded, was sell one, hold one. So I will probably sell one, hold one on these. The problem now is, though, it's like the worst time possible to sell a Zion. So I'm going to have to see what prices look like there. So essentially, this is the way that it breaks down. This is the long-term hold pile. This is the... I don't know what I'm going to do with pile. Should I crack and submit to PSA? And then this is the I'm going to look to sell pile. Optic Zion, I'm probably just going to have to sit on for a while. But these three I should be able to move right away relatively easily, especially with these two guys still playing and Ja just coming off a really nice game. I really like Luka. I would look to keep this, but since I got the silver in a 10, I don't see a need to hold on to this. And like I said, I love LeBron. He brought us a championship. But I just can't get over the Lakers jersey. I would rather sell this and buy like an 08 Topps chalk toss or something with the money for a LeBron card to hold. So, sorry, this probably, as per usual, went a lot longer than I expected it to go based off the rant at the beginning. So, that's all I have for you guys today. Next video is probably going to be another mail day. I got a bunch of stuff coming in the mail. I got some of it already. This all came in the mail today, but I will save that for another video because this one's already gone extremely long. So, thanks for those that popped into the live stream yesterday. Sorry about that. I'm an idiot and I had 2 live streams running at the same time. So I only saw half a chat, essentially, because I'm a dum-dum. So I'll see if I can get that straightened out next time. But other than that, hit the like button, subscribe, comment, YouTube shenanigans. But we are almost to 550 subscribers, so let's go 600. And we will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.